This video is not like my typical content. I'm going to be talking about one of the less than pleasant aspects of being a freelance writer in today's world. No intro this time, let's just get into the video. I have been working as a freelance writer for years now. In this age of the extremely large universe that is the internet, it's hard to get your name out there and to draw clients. So I've been using a service that connects buyers and sellers. It's convenient, but it does have a reputation for having a culture of cheap work, which makes it hard to really make a living off it. In late 2020, when I was still reeling from the pandemic and the blow to my income, I got a message from a potential buyer. Spoiler alert, this was probably the worst experience I've had on that site. And I'm only sharing it because I have learned from this experience, and hopefully I can help someone else too. If I remember correctly, I had submitted an application to a call for writers and got this response.
Hi Ken, it seems like you have interest in our position. Would you mind if I send you a writing test?
This should have been my first red flag. No potential buyer should be asking anyone to do a test. That is free work. This is why we freelance artists have portfolios. Anyway, I didn't know any better, so I answered like this. Good morning. Thank you for contacting me. Yes, that would be fine.
We are Redacted, which is an interactive story platform that publishes redacted stories worldwide. We are so glad that you have interested in this job. Our editors will provide guidelines during your writing. Please allow me roughly to introduce the workflow below. 1. You need to fill the idea plus outline template form with book idea, prologue, and outlines of first 6 chapters related to redacted topics. 2. After the editors discussing and passing the idea, we will discuss details of the price and the writing contract. 3. After contract is signed, you begin to write the first 2 chapters of a new story. If these chapters pass, you can continue the next chapters. 4. We will start counting words after every 6 chapters finished. P.S. More payment and writing details will be discussed after your idea passed. Try to be creative, emotional, and avoid rational explanations. There aren't right or wrong answers, so write freely. Looking forward to your reply.
After a quick break for health reasons, I worked on the sample and sent it in. Hello, here's the sample. Thank you for your tremendous patience. I hope what I have written is to your liking. The response was discouraging.
Hi Ken, you might have a little misunderstanding. To our game, our writers would choose to play as MC. So since you have changed the perspective at chapter 4, we might need to you adjust accordingly with other suggestion from our editor. Please take a look.
This was unnerving, honestly. They did not clearly explain their requirements, which is their responsibility as clients, so there's no wonder I didn't do it the way they wanted. Nonetheless, I sent my adjustments to them. Their response was encouraging.
We just checked your template and you passed. Your story is awesome.
If this had been the end of the test and they were going to start, actually paying me, then things would be relatively fine. However,
we would like to ask you to write a draft about 2,000 words of chapter 1 before signing up the contract. Regarding our experience, this is a very necessary step. This situation happened before. We signed the contract with some writers, and it turns out their ability of creating an outline is fine, but to write the main body of the story is bad. We have to cancel the contract. So in order to save both of us time, we would like you to write 2,000 words for us to take a look. Don't worry, we don't steal your work. If we don't cooperate with you, you can still submit your work somewhere else. If you get pass, this 2,000 words would be included in your chapter 1. After all, it is already the first step of work. Hope you understand. Sorry in advance.
So the test was not over. They wanted me to write an entire draft of a chapter. I did it though. Oh, to be young and naive. Hi, apologies for taking so long. As this was the first time creating a story with various dialogue options, I found it best to write out the scene as prose first and then translate it into the more dialogue-centered way of your template. I have found my groove though. Here's a sample following the template as well as the prose document I used to guide me. And again, their response was encouraging.
Hi Ken, our editor thinks that your work is great. Just need to adjust a little. Please take a look.
At this point, I should say that I had been growing increasingly weary of this exchange. They said the point of this exercise was not to waste their time or mine, but this was a waste of my time. Time that I was not getting paid for. So I responded with, "Hello, considering the editor thinks my draft is good, have I passed this draft test stage?"
Not really,
was the answer.
Our editor thinks that you can still improve a little. That is why we want you to adjust accordingly, to see how much you can improve it.
I didn't respond for a few days, wondering how to go forward. I was not about to do any more work for them. I had written and sent them 3 pieces of free work, and there was absolutely no guarantee that I would pass this so-called test. So my final message to them was, "Greetings. Unfortunately, I am not willing to do any more free work. Thank you for your interest. I hope you find someone who would be a good fit for your business." Their final response to me was,
Hi Ken, thank you for your response. I need to clarify that it is not for free. Once it got passed, all these work would be included. Anyway, thank you for your interest and thank you for trying. Since we did not sign the contract, your work's copyright remains to you. You can submit it to any platform you want. We would not use it secretly. Why are you telling me that? Anyway.
I don't know whether this was deliberate manipulation on their part or whether they were just trying to be careful, but the result is the same. I say again that they got me to do more than 2,000 words of free work for them as part of a test that I still might not have ended up passing. As much as I hate how call center workers are treated here in Jamaica, at least call centers pay their potential workers during the training process. And that's what this was, a training process. So, for all my freelance writers and other artists, please be careful and know your worth. Don't let them manipulate you, deliberately or not, by dangling a carrot in front of your face that you might not even get. As for me, I'm going to start working on building my freelance writing business outside of this environment. I hate how little respect we creatives get for our time and our craft. I know it will be hard, but I won't get anywhere if I don't try, right? By the way, I just got another request for a free sample recently on the same platform. So, yeah, I've had enough.
Glad to know you are interested. If you are interested, could you please write a free sample first so that I can pass it to the team for review? Within 800 words, AI free. Here's the sample information.
Nice, huh? Anyway, thanks for watching. Please drop a like, comment, or subscribe to help my channel grow. Ivan Kenkwame, and I'll see you next time.